Kevin Costner is one of the most respected figures in American cinema, not because his life unfolded easily, but because it never truly did. His performances were never built on volume or spectacle, but on restraint, sincerity, and an almost old-fashioned sense of emotional truth. In films like The Bodyguard, he portrayed love as something steady and protective rather than dramatic. In Field of Dreams, he embodied hope and belief without sentimentality. With Dances with Wolves, he reshaped Hollywood's understanding of what epic storytelling could look like when guided by empathy rather than ego. Yet behind that calm, grounded screen presence lived a man shaped by uncertainty, loss, reinvention, and endurance. Fame brought Kevin Costner recognition and opportunity, but it never insulated him from heartbreak, criticism, or the weight of personal sacrifice. Now in his 70s, he does not stand as a flawless icon, but as a living example that resilience matters more than perfection, and that continuing forward, even when misunderstood or alone, can be the bravest act of all. A childhood marked by loss and emotional distance. Kevin Michael Costner was born on January 18, 1955, in Lynwood, California, into a working-class family that understood struggle as a fact of life. His father, Bill Costner, worked long and physically demanding days as a utility worker, climbing power lines and repairing electrical systems, often returning home exhausted but determined to provide for his family. His mother, Sharon, was a social worker whose days were spent helping others through hardship before turning her attention to her own household. 2 years before Kevin's birth, his parents lost a newborn son named Mark, a tragedy that reshaped the emotional landscape of their family in ways that were never openly discussed. The grief lingered quietly, creating a sense of emotional caution that Kevin felt even as a child. Love was present, but it carried an undercurrent of fear, as though expressing too much attachment might invite loss again. From an early age, Kevin learned that pain could exist without words, and that strength sometimes meant carrying sorrow in silence. Growing up, moving, observing, and adapting. Kevin's childhood was defined by constant relocation as his family moved throughout California in search of stable work and opportunity. Each move meant new schools, unfamiliar faces, and the quiet understanding that friendships were temporary. He was a shy, introspective child who rarely drew attention to himself, often fading into the background of classrooms and social settings. While others formed lasting bonds, Kevin learned how to observe people rather than participate fully, developing an inner world shaped by imagination and reflection. Church choir became one of the few places where he felt momentarily seen, where his voice mattered, even if briefly. These years taught him patience, adaptability, and emotional self-reliance. By the time he reached adulthood, Kevin had already learned how to endure uncertainty, loneliness, and the feeling of starting over, lessons that would later define both his professional journey and personal life, choosing responsibility before passion. After graduating from California State University, Fullerton, Kevin made what seemed like the sensible choice. He earned a degree in marketing and finance, married his college sweetheart Cindy Silva, and accepted a stable office job. From the outside, his life looked secure and respectable, yet internally he felt disconnected from himself. The predictability of corporate work left him restless, and the creative spark he had long suppressed refused to fade. During his honeymoon, a chance conversation with actor Richard Burton changed the course of his life. When Kevin admitted his quiet dream of becoming an actor, Burton encouraged him without hesitation, telling him that regret would be harder to live with than failure. That moment planted courage where fear had lived. Kevin returned home knowing that safety alone was not enough, and soon after, he made the difficult decision to leave his job and pursue acting full-time, fully aware that the path ahead offered no guarantees, years of rejection and financial struggle. Hollywood did not reward Kevin Costner's leap of faith with immediate success. Instead, it tested his resolve in ways few ever see. He worked whatever jobs he could find to survive, cleaning boats, driving trucks, and even leading tours of celebrity homes while quietly dreaming of belonging among them. Auditions often ended without callbacks, and rejection became a routine part of life. He lived frugally, walked long distances to save money, and endured nights of doubt in small, cold apartments. Early roles brought little recognition, and when scenes he filmed for The Big Chill were cut entirely from the final movie, he attended the premiere knowing the audience would never see his work. Years passed this way, marked by disappointment and quiet perseverance. What sustained him was not optimism, but endurance. He had learned early how to live with uncertainty, and he refused to let repeated rejection define his worth. The first signs of recognition. In 1985, after nearly a decade of struggle, Kevin's persistence finally began to pay off when he was cast in Silverado. This time, he approached the opportunity with the focus of someone who understood how rare such chances were. Audiences noticed his calm intensity and authenticity, and industry insiders took note as well. Momentum slowly followed. His role in The Untouchables further showcased his understated strength, earning him broader recognition and respect. For the first time, Kevin felt visible not just as an actor, but as a presence capable of anchoring a story. Yet with recognition came pressure. The safety of anonymity was gone, replaced by expectations and the knowledge that success could be just as fragile as failure, becoming a symbol of quiet hope. The late 1980s transformed Kevin Costner into a cultural figure. Bull Durham connected him with audiences through humor and humanity, while Field of Dreams elevated him into something deeper. His performance resonated because it spoke to longing, reconciliation, and belief without forcing emotion. The film's now iconic message about faith and second chances struck a chord across generations. Kevin became associated with sincerity and moral grounding, qualities that set him apart in an industry often driven by spectacle. Yet he did not want to be confined to acting alone. He felt a growing need to tell stories that reflected history, dignity, and empathy. That desire led him toward the greatest risk of his career, betting everything on Dances with Wolves. In 1990, Kevin Costner directed and starred in Dances with Wolves, a project that defied nearly every Hollywood expectation. A 3-hour Western told partly in the Lakota language was considered commercially unviable, and many industry professionals openly doubted it. Production was physically demanding, financially stressful, and emotionally exhausting. Kevin invested not just money, but his reputation, fully aware that failure could end his career. When the film was released, it exceeded every expectation. Winning 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director, it reshaped the industry's understanding of storytelling and validated Kevin's belief that audiences still valued depth and authenticity. Yet success brought its own burden. From that moment on, every decision he made would be judged against an impossible standard. When success turned into scrutiny. At the height of his fame, Kevin Costner experienced the darker side of public success. Waterworld became a symbol of excess in media narratives, overshadowing the genuine ambition and physical danger involved in its production. Near-death experiences on set were largely ignored as headlines focused on budgets and ridicule. Later, the Postman faced harsh criticism that further damaged his reputation. Hollywood, once welcoming, grew distant. Offers slowed, and silence returned, heavier than before. Yet Kevin responded the only way he knew how, by continuing. He returned with Open Range, a quiet, character-driven film that restored respect and reminded audiences of his sincerity and skill. The experience reinforced a hard lesson: public opinion is fleeting, but integrity endures. Reinvention through Yellowstone. When many assumed his era had passed, Kevin found renewal through television. Yellowstone introduced him to a new generation as John Dutton, a character defined by loyalty, contradiction, and moral complexity. The role resonated deeply, turning the show into one of the most watched dramas of its time. At an age when many actors slow down, Kevin experienced the reinvention. He used this momentum to pursue Horizon, a deeply personal, multi-part project he largely funded himself. At this stage of life, success was no longer measured by box office numbers, but by creative fulfillment and purpose. Risk no longer frightened him, complacency did. Love, marriage, and sacrifice. Kevin Costner's personal life mirrored the tension of his career. His first marriage to Cindy Silva lasted 16 years and produced 3 children. Cindy supported him through years of obscurity and financial uncertainty, often carrying the emotional weight of family life alone while Kevin pursued his career. As fame grew, distance followed. Travel, long shoots, and emotional absence strained their bond. Their divorce in 1994 was painful but handled with mutual respect, with both prioritizing their children. Kevin later acknowledged that ambition came at a cost he did not fully understand until it was already paid. Fatherhood as a moral anchor. After his divorce, Kevin became a father again when his son Liam was born in 1996. Rather than retreating, he embraced responsibility fully, ensuring presence, care, and stability. This chapter of his life was quiet and grounded, defined not by public attention but by accountability. Fatherhood became a stabilizing force during a time of emotional uncertainty, reminding him that even when relationships change, commitment remains. A second marriage and familiar challenges. Kevin later married Christine Baumgartner, with whom he shared nearly 2 decades and 3 children. For a time, their life offered the balance and stability he had long sought, yet the demands of his career resurfaced, pulling him away once again. Over time, differing needs created emotional distance, and their marriage ended in 2023. Though the separation was public and painful, Kevin emphasized respect and co-parenting. The experience reinforced a familiar truth: success cannot replace presence, and love requires intentional balance. Loss, grief, and perspective. As Kevin aged, loss became more frequent. The deaths of his parents marked the end of a foundational chapter, leaving a quiet absence only a child can fully understand. The passing of friends and collaborators, including Whitney Houston, reminded him of the vulnerability behind talent. These losses deepened his empathy and reshaped his understanding of time. Grief softened him, influencing the stories he chose to tell and the way he approached life with greater patience and gratitude. Aging, health, and redefining legacy. Now in his 70s, Kevin continues to work despite physical fatigue and the realities of aging. He divides his time between his ranch in Aspen and his home in Santa Barbara, finding peace in simplicity and nature. More than wealth or acclaim, family matters most. As a father of 7, he strives to remain present, aware that time cannot be reclaimed. Legacy, he understands, is not built solely through awards or films, but through resilience, honesty, and showing up again and again. A life shaped by endurance. Kevin Costner's story is not one of uninterrupted triumph, but of persistence through failure, loss, and reinvention. He has risen, fallen, and risen again, each time carrying forward the lessons of the past. His legacy lies not in perfection, but in endurance, the willingness to continue when applause fades and doubt grows loud. He once said that success is simply showing up again. At this stage of life, that belief defines him more than ever. Older, wiser, and still standing, Kevin Costner remains a testament to the quiet courage required to keep going.